Hello, good evening. My name is Ulrich Obrist. I'm co-director of the Serpentine Gallery, and we are here in the Moore building in Miami.
I mean, it's very interesting to have this kind of whole performance on the occasion of the Art Basel Miami.
Some years ago, Jacques mentioned to me this idea of really expanding into a mass culture, to make architecture a mass phenomenon.
I feel there is a real lack of these different cultural fields and creative fields in our societies to come together and to learn from each other. I think that's still today, that's like almost a medieval situation.
And at the same time in dialogue also with Kanye West, which has been an unrealized interview I always wanted to do.
Literally, this time last year I didn't know these names. And I'm in a place of such high influence but such low education. And that is the issue that people usually have with celebrity. But the problem is the truth is being held back, oftentimes from us, so we can be drones that cannot push people to, open thought.
And it's always interesting for somebody who's incredibly well known to people all over the world who have no interest in culture whatsoever. If he begins to engage in a conversation that is really maybe foreign to them, that's really where the interest lies.
I think architecture has that potential. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't make sense anymore. Architecture in some way is very archaic, and the passive qualities of architecture, you have a real wall, you have a real material, you have something that is human, to touch something that feels like plastic is different than from fabric or from steel, and these very simple things are what we are after. And I think with music is different, it's somehow very, very archaic. I think basically it touches on something deeply simple and human and natural.
The connection between Kanye and Jacques and Kanye, he's very inspired by architecture. He mentioned his new album. There's a very strong connection there that architecture inspires his multi-dimensional music. He talked about his idea of his music becoming more and more 3D.
I would just sit at the Barnes & Nobles down from my street and just look at whatever I could see, whether it was like Architectural Digest or Dwell or whatever little bit of information I had through the commercial mass distribution of photographs of architectural home.
And yet at the same time, I think Jacques Herzog and Pierre Demeron have been inspired by sound. They're designing the Philharmonie in Hamburg, which is one of the great concert halls in Europe. You've achieved so much, both. You've realized so many projects, so many buildings, so many albums. I was wondering what in 2013 is your dream, your unrealized project?
To have that kind of conversation between different worlds and people who normally don't speak together or don't exchange ideas is, I think, an interesting way to transform our societies.